Heart of Algebra, Skill Builder number 9, and these are fill-in-the-blank problems. So for number 1, it says, a video game was released with 4 playable characters. The video game company has a plan to add 6 new characters every quarter, which is every 3 months, for the first 2 years. If an equation is written in the form y equals ax plus b to represent the number of characters, y, released by the video game company x quarters after the company released the game, what is the value of b? So this problem is a pretty long word problem, but what you should really focus on are the numbers. So what is the question? It wants the value of b. So just from reading this, you can come up with an equation in the form of y equals ax plus b. So we know that x equals the every quarter that exists, and you get 6 new characters every quarter. So far you have y equals 6x. And at the beginning of the word problem, it says that you start with 4 playable characters. So that's going to be your b value, which is plus 4. So the question asks, what is the value of b? You have plus 4 as the answer. So make sure that you write 4 in the fill in the blank, but also bubble it for your answer.
So we have an equation. It's 5x plus x minus 5 minus 1 equals 9 plus x. And I'm going to write that down. And it says, in the equation above, what is the value of x? So basically what we're going to have to do is combine like terms. And I would start with the x's because they all have the same variable. So adding 5x plus another 2x would be 7x. And then the negative 5 minus 1 would be negative 6. So on the left side of the equal sign, it's 7x minus 6 equals 9 plus x. So now we have to get all the variables to one side. So I would subtract x from the right side to get 6x minus 6 equals 9, and then add 6 equals 6x equals 15, and then again divide by 6 to get the x by itself. So x equals 15 over 6, and then when you put this into the little grid, you're going to circle or fill in 1, 5, and then the slash and 6, 3, and we have a system of equations. It's y equals 3x plus 2, and then another one, 6x equals y. What is the y coordinate of the solution to the system of equations above? So let's first write down the equations. Now what I'm noticing here is that these are both equal to y, so we can make the two equations equal to each other. Okay, now again, our goal is to find x first and then y. So we are going to subtract 3x from both sides to try to get x by itself. And then again, divide by 3 to get x by itself. So x equals 2/3. And now we have to plug the x value of 2/3 back into one of the original equations to get the y value, because you want the coordinate, which is the x and y value. So I would just use the second one here because it seems easiest to me. So 6 times the x value of 2/3 equals y. So then 6 times 2 is 12 over 3. So 12 over 3 equals y, which means y equals 4. And so the y coordinate is going to be 4.00 when you plug that in to the graph.
It states, Phil's working as an extra on a TV show. He earned $10 per hour for the first 15 hours he worked this week. Because of his performance, Phil was given a more prominent role on the show, which raised his salary to $30 per hour for the rest of the week. Phil saves 50% of his earnings from each week. What is the least number of hours he must work the rest of the week to save at least $300 for the week? So when you have a word problem, basically it's describing an equation. So what you want to do is try to get an equation from the word problem. So it tells you, first let's look at the information that it tells you. So it tells you that he earned $10 per hour for the first 15 hours. So let's figure out what that is. So you can do 15 times 10, which equals $150. Okay, so he earned $150 working the first 15 hours of the week. And he's going to now earn $30 per hour for the rest of the week. And we need to find out how many more hours he needs to work so that when he saves 50% of his earnings from the 1 week, he has $300 in total. So we have our $150. Let's set up an equation from this. So you can take $150, okay, plus 30x, and x is representing the number of hours he needs to work for the rest of the week, and that's what we need to figure out. Okay, and it says that he saves 50% of his earnings from each week, so we have to divide this by 2 to take 50%. And then this total has to equal $300 for the week, so that's what we put as the y value. So now we have an equation that we can just solve for. So what we're going to do is first multiply by 2 on both sides to get rid of the division by 2. So then you're going to have $150 plus 30x equals $600. Now we can combine like terms. So we already have 30x on one side. Let's combine 150 and 600. So we need to bring the 150 over to the right. So that means we have to subtract by 150. So that gets 30x by itself. And on the right side, 600 minus 150 is 450. So the final step is to get x by itself. And to do that, we have to divide by 30. So we're going to divide by 30 on both sides. And finally, you get x equals 15. And so remember from the word problem, this is the number of hours that he needs to work for the rest of the week. It's not a dollar amount. So the answer is 15 hours. So we have if x equals 9/5 y and y equals 10, what is the value of 3x minus 8? So let's write this information down. X equals 9/5 y equals 10, and we need to figure out what 3x minus 8 equals. All right, so we could easily solve this if we knew what x is, but we don't. So we can look over here, and we're given that x equals 9/5 y. We still don't know what x is, so we can take what y equals, plug it into this first equation to find out what x equals. So what we're going to do is plug 10 in for the first equation. So x equals 9/5 times 10. All right, so 10 times 9 is 90, and this is over 5. All right, and 90 divided by 5 equals 18. So this is what x equals. So we're not done yet. We still have to plug in what x equals into the original equation. So we're going to do 3 times 18 minus 8. So 3 times 18 equals 54, and you still have to subtract 8. So 54 minus 8 equals 46. And this is your answer.